Hello everyone. This is battle of mission 9 that I want to show you. We use the same. I just cut the shipbuilding part that I uploaded as another video. This is the same ship. We'll go straight to the battle. I'll show you here two tricks, maybe more, that you use against any enemy ship. First is, even if you don't have identification, you can see what is the torpedoes, range, enemy torpedoes range and the enemy guns range, simply by clicking on them. I also try to, play this as fast as possible, so there isn't going to be much time to explain things. Yes, in this case, it's a 23 knot vessel. It has the best accuracy at 17.5 knots. So that's why I'm using this speed, because it has a boost of I don't remember, 23 or something like that percent to accuracy. So for now it's just a shooting contest, we don't do much. Simply sailing. Yes, remember that above 7 rudder shift you start to lose velocity. 7 is fine, 8 will start to give you penalty. Of course you still have a small penalty from your own maneuver. In case of 6 it is about 3%. And enemy here doesn't technically retreat, but ships, single ships do retreat and they come back, which is why you either kill them fast or you wound them and then simply switch target, because they run away. You can see now that it's better to fire at the arc than at the Saber T2, because it's closer, only 2 kilometers, so 0.8% chance of hitting, and the other one is almost at 3 kilometers if I remember correctly. Yeah, and again we check the range of torpedoes. It is, in this mission it is very important to stay out of torpedo range. I could even show you the even longer gameplay where I made a mistake and it was torpedoed. Of course I won, because yeah, unless you're very unlucky, you can take one torpedo and still win. But yes, so despite me playing at twice the time speed or 3 times the speed, it still takes almost 20 minutes to defeat the enemy. Actually, this longer example that I thought I might show you, is shorter on time. It just takes longer because I don't use 2 or 3 times speed. So as we see, the arc is running, so we switch target, it's fine. This torpedo boat Saber is faster, it's 30 knots, but it's fine. The only real problem to us is fire and bulkheads that we have, which aren't maximum. They aren't maximum, but they help to negate some of those fires. However, you can see that the enemy ship has a lot of bulkheads, a lot of, internal compartments, so burning it down or flooding it, unless you, well, just like me, you basically overdo with a weapon, because I'm using also 9-inch main cannons, main guns. They are not easy to sink. So, yeah, close the distance, but to more than 1 kilometer, you don't want a torpedo fired at you. I'll show near the end the trick how to avoid a torpedo being launched using the UI and manual rudder. So this ship is so fast that at the moment I cannot bring all my guns to bear, so it's probably going to, it's probably going to survive this and run away, and I will end up switching targets, or I will have to do something radical to kill it. Mainly stop firing, or at least not prioritize it, but turn. And indeed, whether I want it or not, I need to turn very sharply. Because otherwise I will get in a torpedo range, and that's not something I want to do. Torpedoes at 1 kilometer are almost impossible to dodge. Now, if you manage to pause just after they are launched, yes, it's doable if you know where torpedoes are going. And they are not always factoring your course, not to mention that you don't slow down or accelerate as much as would allow to dodge the torpedoes at 1 kilometer. If you were in cruiser or destroyer, yes, you could basically cruise at half speed, torpedoes launch against you, you just make sure you're pointed forward at the rudder and do maximum speed, and yeah, torpedo will miss. But with BB there is no such luxury. Yeah, so Saber is really lucky at the moment. We'll see if it gets hit. But I am at the moment more concerned about the other boat. That, yes, it's Saber T2. Because it was getting awfully close. Well, we shall see what will happen. As if I don't know already. And as you can see, even though I nerfed my ship's armor, which you can see in a shipbuilding video, still it's enough to basically not get penetrated at all. Enemy gets partial pens and that's all. Okay, so I managed to double flood the enemy. I guess, will it be enough? Oh, it's close to this. They're losing power, losing engines. And one more flood. Oh. Oh, they shouldn't get up from this. Yeah. It sunk. Now switching target to Saber T2, if I remember correctly, but torpedo boat Arc is close and slightly too close for comfort, but it's damaged a lot. 2 of the 3 engines are down, I believe. And it's basically a sitting duck, so I will just shoot it and get rid of it before I take the Saber T2. Now, again, checking for range. I do have to say that in my other mission I had enemies with slightly longer range of torpedoes. I believe at least one of them had 1.5 kilometer torpedo, which isn't a problem in this mission as much, as long as it is below 2 kilometers or around 2 kilometers. You strike pretty well and can sink a ship without too much hassle. Now, if this ship, I will have to check if it is, yeah, it's 30 knots fast, so that's the problem, it can outmaneuver you. So, depending on both your maneuvers and its maneuvers, it changes the numbers of gun you can bear on it dramatically. And well, at that speed you can see that target's maneuver is -7% and target speed was over -20% before I almost flooded it. So it's hard to hit a moving target. You have ridiculous amount of penalties, and you should see what happens when you do the same in a smoke screen. For the moment, target is practically invulnerable because smoke screen is like 25 minus 25% to accuracy, and speeds sometimes exceed, for example, 40 knots, which is crazy. It gives you so much problems with accuracy that it's basically impossible to hit the target unless you're very lucky. So yes, at the moment I am trying to close the distance, but also open up with more guns, because at the moment only front guns are shooting. That's the problem with maneuverable opponent and fast opponent. They can basically choose by what they are being shot at. And yes, it's being flooded, so it slows down a bit. And here there's the trick. You see the torpedo circle, and you see the when I have a mouse on my ship, you see its trajectory, and you want your trajectory to be outside of this circle. Just remember that the circle is moving along with the enemy ship, so you want to have safe distance, which is why I'm increasing the rudder, because I don't want to be too close. I don't want to end up within 1 kilometer. To have a torpedo fired at me. Great damage control on that ship. It was twice in its 20s as a float, and it's still kicking at 100% at the moment. But unless it kept, being very fast and swimming around me, and I can now get all my guns to bear, and it doesn't stand much of a chance. Well, none really. So yes, reducing speed to 17.5, because that's where I have maximum accuracy, over 20% bonus to accuracy, 20.7%, and I've sunk the ship. So yes, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and in the comments if you want to tell me what you want me to do for next video. Goodbye, thank you very much.